Ja, ich höre dich. Ich habe uns jetzt einfach live gesetzt. Ups. Ich kann dich hören. Ich würde fast check.
Yep. I can hear you. And we are
Okay.
live.
Yes, we are live. We should not let the people wait with some tech setup problems. But now we can hear each other. Fantastic. And hello everyone who's listening.
A warm welcome from my side also. Yes.
Yeah.
So, we are
Okay.
before time. We are before time. So
Yeah. It's just to synchronize all this stuff with LinkedIn. But you have something with you, some great DAX user data functions. So
UDF.
that's
Yes.
lots of UDFs. There are UDFs in Fabric and there are UDFs in DAX.
We
And
are talking
today,
about user data functions, user-defined functions in DAX.
Yeah, I should zoom out. So now
So
you're bigger than me.
yeah. But let's start with what we want, what we like. We like to share. Can you bring up my screen?
Go to the laptop.
Yes, we are going to the laptop. So I will start with just a short introduction of user-defined function, because I'm not aware if everyone is aware of this completely new feature. It was announced middle last month, so I guess it was around the 15th of September where they said, okay, we now support user-defined function. In order to use it, you have to go to file. Oh, I should change it to English, but anyhow, not options, and now you go for your preview features. Sometimes it needs a little bit of patience. So we can go for preview and you can enable benutzerdefinierte DAX-Funktion, or in English, user-defined functions. So restart your desktop and then you are ready to go. Okay. So I already did this and we already can start building up user-defined functions. So the first thing, we have to define them. We have to define them in our model. I will just start and say define. And now we have to say what we want to define. It's a function. And I can just use functions. We can also bring in some descriptions. And my function will be now Arthur's streaming function.
Yeah. So an interesting thing is that you can only define them in DAX Query View or in TMDL. So there's no GUI version of function creation so far.
At the moment, no, I didn't. Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, I tried to find it, don't found it. So
yeah. So anyhow,
yeah.
Now we have to say how the function is called, and I can say Arthur's is gleich. So see a lot of mails coming in. So is gleich, and now I have to define it, and I have to bring in the values, and you can start. Something is missing. I don't know why. Equals. No, function descriptions equals.
Yeah. Parameter stuff. Yeah, for me, what was really helpful was the sample from the Microsoft blog.
Yeah. I already did. So it's still quite new, and if you do not know it, here you find some infos. So basically, this is how it's set it up and what can be used. So basically, this is a docu for user-defined functions, and also the introduction of SQL BI is also quite helpful, where you can say, okay, here you got also these kind of values. We will see this later. And what is also very, very cool, it's that you find the content from Kurt Buhler. He did this for Tableau Editor, so obviously it's based on Tableau Editor 3, but a lot of the stuff, it's also in here what you can use for your user-defined functions. So define, and now I can say Arthur, and now I can define what is. So now we see it again. So we see, okay, it's a value or it's an expression. Is this datetime boolean? So we can say any value, any reference. I just will start with any value, so the default type. And now I have to bring in what the function should do. And I can say, okay, the function should sum up Arthur. So I could say, okay, the function is sum, and now I can bring Arthur. No, I don't want to call the function. This is sometimes a little bit stupid. It's not referring directly to this, because now I have to say, okay, I want to have Arthur and close. So you will not see that you can directly use this value. So you have to type it in, then it works. But in the beginning, it's not working. Next time we have to say Ulrich that he shouldn't send his emails by streaming.
Or you can just close Outlook.
Oh yeah, I can just close Outlook. But anyhow, now you set it up, and the cool thing is now I can deploy this function, and I just will deploy it. So there's no sense on this one. I actualize my model, and now I can see this function in my model. So now we are seeing these functions, for example, in my model. Here we are, and here is the Arthur is the defined function that we said, okay, Arthur, it's basically Arthur any value, and it makes the sum of something. And now I can start using this, and I can just say, okay, new measure. And now I can say, okay, test stream equals on. Now I can call Arthur. And the cool thing is, you remind that I commented the things, and here the comment is basically the description what the function is doing. Obviously, this makes not a lot of sense here, but I can now say sum of, let's say, yeah, I can say just sum of this one, enter. And now I got a new, something is not working. Yeah, something different. It needs another value. So you have to be aware of what you're using. But basically, this was just the introduction in the syntax. And now we will go on and be a little bit more complex. Because if you want to use, for example, columns, so let's say you want to pick one column and do something based on one column, you can't use any value. So you're using any reference. So you say, okay, I want to use any reference. And this is needed to access some columns. And now if I redo it, and if I'm now going for now going,
this is a very big report.
Sorry, what?
This is a very big report here.
It's my demo report, so there's everything in. So basically, if I'm now going 1 second. Any reference should be okay. Why it does not working? Any reference Arthur. So here it should be except now the columns. So Arthur of I should be able to reference now also columns, because this was also something I discovered in the beginning, that a lot of the stuff is based on measures, and if you're using the standard, you can only use the DAX function, so the user-defined functions based on measures, so not very practical in some occasions. So, but let's go back. Because as you can see, I brought up something different. Here we can see a basic simple UDF for all, and it's just creating 60. So just so you can also build something. If I'm now changing this, it would be plus. So basically, you can build now a calculator with Power BI. But I don't know if this is what you want to do, but obviously you can do it. But back to the reference, here you see it. I said it's any reference and it's an expression. And if I go back to my value, I could say, okay, any expression, let's check if this is now better. And it should provide sum of Arthur. And I can set any value for Arthur. Basically, I'm renaming the summation function. So this is also a showcase I did in LinkedIn, where I said, now you can translate functions. For example, you can say sum, it's Summe, or you can do it for English or any language with Latin. So, yeah. But why I'm not able to access columns, I'm not sure. So there's something missing, I guess. And this was also when I started building my use case I will show now. Yes, sorry for I have no Zoom. Sorry, yeah. Something I have to introduce. You are completely right.
But you can zoom when you with control and mouse. At least
yeah,
you can
that's
zoom
true,
in
that's
vision.
true. I can zoom in. Okay, but as you can see, it's not so easy to access the columns. And this was something I discovered when I started building with my solution. And let's go to this one, because what I built was a histogram. So basically, I built bins and I say, okay, I want to count something in the bins. And you see it here. I have customers and I have 70,000 customers with under 100,000. I have 20,000 with over, I have 151 with over 200,000 and 2 with over 300,000. And basically, this is based on grouping. So I calculated virtual tables, and then I count the virtual tables, how many are in each bin. So this is, done in a function. And how this function works is if I bring in the bin, so I have the bins, I can say, okay, and now I can bring in the value that I say, okay, I count this one. Now you see, okay, here a lot of values, here not so many. So in this case, a table is, I would say, better than a column, than a chart, because obviously the values are very big. And now we want to see how we can build this. So you can also do this basically by using generate series and using a virtual table. But as you can see, I brought in histogram table function, and I brought in a bin value, also the histogram value function. So one is the histogram table and one is the histogram value. So let's have a look in how does this work, because as you can see, in order to build this table, I have to reference a customer key to make this working, as well as here I have to bring in the customer key and the revenue. So we also could do this based on any other stuff we can calculate. So let's have a look into the back end. So any questions so far from your side, Arthur?
I think yeah, you jumped from the very basic to histogram. No, I'm just looking forward to see how it works.
Sorry for this, but I did not
It's quite
use
good.
it for anything between. So I just used it for this, and I just want to explain the starting point of what is user-defined functions. Yeah,
and I think that definitely I should be able to follow when you show now how it works.
So
yeah.
Basically, this one is again the histogram table. And let's say, okay, I have the histogram table. I can bring in a description automatically generate.
Is there any ref I didn't know about this? So this is already useful.
What?
The NUREF. But yeah, I let you explain it and maybe ask later.
Annual ref? I'm not sure
No,
where
just don't mind. Just go on.
Okay. So as you can see again, I define here what this table, the table for the bins. And as I define this table here, I can also make it a little bit bigger, I guess. So here we can say, okay, I want to update my model. If yes, then this is also in the model. And as you can see, here we have two things. We have histogram table, and one is here is the group. So this is where I'm grouping by. And then I have the value. So here I define it's any referent expression, and I say his value is expression. And as you can see, now it's basically straightforward to say, okay, I do the same what I'm doing for the value later. I'm doing now to get the highest value possible to make the right bin choices. And basically I say, okay, I want to group it based on the max value. So I use the max x of my grouped function and say, okay, I want the max value of this function. Then I say, and here's something really, really cool coming. You see this function, power 10 int locked by this value -1. Actually, this working for any size. When I started, it was not like this. The step size was a bit not straightforward, because what I did something like this. So when I started, I just started with this kind of messy switch statement where I said, okay, it's this. And then ChatGPT thought, okay, I can propose something, and did the following thing. It said, okay, you can use this integer, this integer function as a variable. And I just brought it in, and now it's more generic than it was before. And in the end, based on these values, I using the step size, I'm using the max value, and based on the step size and the max value, I'm generating a table, which we are then using for binning everything from the values. So, and now we can use it. Let's do it for another one. I just say, okay, modeling new table. sometimes it's so, and I say bin for, let's say, bin for, we can also look in the days. So I could say, okay, I want to see days by revenue. I can say bin days with revenue equals histogram table. So now I can say, okay, I want to histogram table, hist group. So I need the group where I want to do it for. So basically I want to do for date. So any date. So here I get all my order dates. And now, as you can see, now also I can reference on columns. And this is something you will need to do. And when I started, it was not so straightforward that I have to set this of any reference to get the possibility to reference to a column. So now I say, okay, I want to have it by order date. And now I have to say, what are my hist values? Obviously, I want to do it for revenue, so I just use revenue, and that's all. Now I'm entering, and if everything is right, I now get a series. So here I get a series, and now I can just bring in the values. Let's have a look, and you see all the values which are relevant. So the biggest value seems to be like 200,000, and the smallest likes to be 0. So basically this generates a series based on what we used. Now, Tony asked if UDF support IntelliSense? Partly, because partly.
It's also my experience, yes.
So the thing is, when I'm here and writing something, I never got this reference. I have to write it in, and then it works. But it's not really 100% as you used to use it. So now we have the value, and now we need the bin value. And I just can say, okay, new measure. And basically, for the value, I have to do the same. I can say, okay, bin days equals, it's histogram value. Sometimes this is messy, so no, sorry. So let's do it again. I will write it again to get histogram value. Okay, I'm not sure if I need first the column or first the value. I just will try it. Revenue, histogram value, no, hist value by. So I need the date. Oh, no, was right. I need this, and now I need the date, the order date, and now I can say, okay, generate this histograms. Okay, it needs a third value. Was not. What is the third one?
I think the
count. No, I need the value of the bins. So
yeah,
value of the bins. Bins for the yes. Because now it needs always the value where it selects the value to bring it in. So therefore it has these 3 steps. And now I have the bin value, and if I drag and drop it in, obviously the values are pretty high, and it's creating these kind of bins. If you use it, maybe you should bring it in a little bit more, more granular way. But now it's like step size, maybe not
But how
perfectly aligned this one, but it's needs a little bit more rethinking, I guess. But yeah.
But how does this logic decides how many of this
Yeah, this is,
bins
I guess, it's not really
create?
100% good. So maybe there's a little bit rework to be done to say, okay, we need it a little bit more fine, granular. So yeah. However, so in the back end, you get this as a function defined, and you can reuse it, obviously. So basically, this is the value, and this is the table. And the cool thing now is, if you have once created this, so I just can go to functions in my TMDL view. In my TMDL view, I can just take this to functions, copy them, and if I now Control R and Z and open another report, and this is really cool because it makes this really, really easy to use. If I'm now here in another report, open as well the TMDL view, and now Control V, I can bring in the functions to a complete new report and say, okay, use them. Yes, I have to update this. And now I have the same functions in this report. So, and I can use it if I'm now say, okay, let's see what is in, makes sense. So I could also again use the dates and say, okay, I want to use trip, no, daily spendings. Let's see, calculations, paid euro for daily spendings, and I can just bring in, oh, I have to start with the table again. So I can say new table. Table. Call it days bins equals his, and as you can see now it's deployed here. So now you can work with them. I can say table. I can say, okay, what is my histogram group by? It's the date. It's like the date paid, and I can say, okay, what is my value? It's paid euros, and again I got a table. Let's have a look what this looks like. Oh. Maybe this is a little bit not the right thing to say sum. It should be not, and you see 100 steps up to 2000. And now I can bring in the next step. I can say new measure and bring in the hist value, and let's do it and say histogram value. What is my value? It's the paid. What is the histogram reference? It's days, day. So, and last but not least, what's my bins? It's the value. And maybe I have to rename it sometimes to not name it value, because this is a little misleading. And now I created the same stuff. Yeah, basically, I guess the rounding is not the best thing. So this is something I have to check. The rounding is basically on the thousands. I guess it should be rounded not on the biggest, but on the smaller one. So
Yeah, but let's check in the function. Maybe we can fix it together.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
function is okay. The first function is white. So this one is working the table, but the rounding here is not the right thing because it's rounding to the step
Yeah, the
size.
step size is hard-coded, right? You have 10, but not really. No, you take the max value, and this is clever
Yeah.
thing, but at some point,
And
the
here it has
distribution.
some kind of issue in this one because here the step sizes are white. If you're looking in, the step sizes are pretty cool because as you can see, if I don't summarize this, the step sizes are 100s. This looks pretty good. I like this, but it does not use the right rounding. So this round up is not right. It's a little bit too. So the mistake or the error should be somewhere here with the binning. That the binning has the wrong. Oh, step size length. I guess there we go because this steps. This is power 10 locked. Do you have an idea where? Because this is sometimes a problem if you're using tools like ChatGPT and it provides code, you believe it and don't check it. As you can see live on screen, not always the best just to trust code. You have to understand it and to check it. And obviously, this round up is one too big. I could do the following thing, but this is a little bit tricky. I could bring in.
Yeah. Are you sure that this is the problem? So at least you can just
I'm
yeah,
pretty
just
sure.
delete the round up totally and just use the values, and then we
No, this
maybe
will not
see
work
more.
because if you just use the values, this does not work because then you have no connection to the histogram table. Yeah, but
Okay.
as it looks now,
Better,
this
but still, no, we don't know
no,
if it's
it's
right.
worse.
It's yeah, but only until 1,300, and then it's oh, maybe there is no data, but
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was
This is the
one.
highest date, and so the rounding up goes to 2000, but yeah, interesting. But I guess the highest date was 1300. So basically a flight booking. And
So what I would do in such cases is to try to debug the this variables, because this one with the logarithmic function and then the power function, it's very hard to
yeah, sure.
like reproduce it in your brain.
Yep.
So you need to check this up, and there is also an integer function inside of this. So when you use the integer function, then it also always rounds down, right? And this is how it was, I think. So in the step size,
Yeah.
that instead of, so everything that's below 2000 was just rounded down. So for me, it's kind of a problem. I don't know why it took this thousands. This is still not transparent for me, but I think it's because of this logarithmic power stuff. So the
Yeah,
step size needs to be a little bit more transparent.
yep. So when I started, as said, I just started with something like this. When I say, okay, let's do it. No, where it is. I started with this not so nice one because it was manually checking, and when it's suggested not manually but doing with power and logarithmic, I thought, yeah, maybe this is better. But as you can see, when testing, there are some issues when you just believe, oh, it works. So basically, yeah, it's not perfect, but I guess it goes in the right direction. So I assume I have to redo this part here in the value function, because here it's fine, it works more or less, but here it does not work in the right way. We also can test what we can see here. Let's now we can summarize columns for, let's do it, evaluate why IntelliSense is not working. Huh?
It's TMDL. Not
Ah.
DAX query. Now you deleted your model.
No, I didn't do this. So I can do, summarize columns, date, calendar. So, and pay value. Okay, and let's do it. And now we got all the values. And the basic idea is then rounding this value, and this provides at the end the max values. And here you see the max value. This should be this one. And we can test it. XX und sorry. Let's do it. It should be nearly one. Yeah. This is the max value. It's rounded up to 1,300.
So it seems right that 2000 was a hoax.
The 2000 was a hoax, yes. But this, basically what we're doing here, it's the same. And then we are counting.
Yeah.
And
so it's, but this is, for me, it's definitely a problem in this function so far, because it's, of course, harder to debug. You don't have anything that you can actually see. And then you need, as like you do, just extract some lines of code into another DAX query and then test them there.
So you mean that user-defined function can be also leading to some unwanted problems, because if it's in, it's harder to find.
Yeah, it's harder to find and also harder to debug. It's definitely a topic, but okay, it's more a pro feature, but I don't even had a chance to define them again in DAX query. Can you use them here?
Yes, if I go here.
Maybe you can. And okay, you can just, no, this doesn't work, but maybe the 3 dots work. Okay, that's good. So you can just define and evaluate the second one. Let's try this. Okay. That's a good, here you can still edit it. And then you can just in return, just return the step size, for example, just to test around with some stuff. But of course, it's a little bit not realistic because
Yeah,
as
it is.
function always depends on an input and not on
Yeah, yes, it's I guess
yeah.
you should first build some kind of DAX
Mm,
uses because I had the same. I had this function used before just by writing it by my own. And then I thought, can I bring in my well-used function
yeah.
in here? But the thing is, what I'm not normally did not do was to defining this automatically. So I normally said, okay, I know the biggest value is 1000, so I want to have step sizes by X. So normally I defined the step sizes by myself. Maybe this is something worth thinking about, not to doing this automatically, but letting the user define how big the
Mm,
step sizes are.
yeah, because in the normal binning function, it is like it is, right? You can say I want this many groups, and then it works, or you can define the step
Yeah.
as you defined here automatically. So, of course, it's a very cool idea to do it automatically because it's even more flexible to use it. But yeah, it has obvious drawbacks of
Yeah.
some kind
I
of
would say
black box
one is the
logic.
complexity of rounding and rounding up,
Mm,
rounding down, and so on. Yeah. Yeah, but this is in the end, this is it. So you can define, and here you see expression and
mm,
any ref to get a column and any ref no, any value
mm,
to get the so any ref to get
mm,
the columns expression to get let's say different measures. So this is really hard in the beginning. When I started, it was really annoying that you have to define what you want to use, and that you have to say, okay, should be a column or should be not a column, should be
mm,
allow columns. So this is playing around, and any reference is basically if you want to say, I also want to have the context of a column.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even knew about this NRF. So for me, it was like I have like another DAX logic. I have to have something over a column to address it. But no, you can. And you can with the functions. You can do a lot of stuff. You can even return whole tables, and so it's quite powerful. So this
You
is
also
a
can do this, and
good
if you
thing.
do
I
so,
just never found this kind of documentation that you can do it, but fantastic stuff.
it is in, it was in here.
Mm,
I'm not sure if it's here. No, I guess it's here. Here you see that here. Here it's a little bit better
mhm. Okay,
documented.
tabular editor.
Yeah, not in
Nothing to
the
Microsoft.
original
Yeah.
one, but in the tabular editor, you got
Mm,
that you can do it like here, as you can see. Here, these values
yeah.
are here
But
documented.
that's a quite cool idea to check out this. And as we have seen, it's still amazing that you can have some complex logic like a binning just on a function, and then later you can decide you can use it on every column and every value. And this is even compared to like field parameters. So when you think, okay, I just want to see a histogram with binnings, I can use field parameters, right, just to change the category, but you have to predefine it, and here you can use it for any table, and
Yeah,
this is kind of amazing indeed. Uh,
it was just an idea,
mm,
and as you can see, it says a little bit more work to do on the step sizes, but yeah,
mhm,
feel free to provide me some feedback, some additional
mhm.
infos. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still thinking if it's no, but it's completely flexible. That's very cool. You can use summarize columns, and then you can use all the rest on top of this
Yeah.
virtual table. This is the magic that's inside this.
Yeah, this was my first user-defined function I wrote.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, mine was the copy pasted text value.
And
but
I really have to say, sometimes when you are in the user-defined function and want to reference to the user-defined variables you want to reuse, this is kind of hard because it's not IntelliSense. It does not support that
yeah.
I got now the value and can reuse this value. So this makes it a little bit tricky. But hey, it's still new. It's still in preview, I guess. Yeah. We will see upcoming updates. Also, our feedback will help to make this feature better, I guess.
Yeah, I think IntelliSense is something that can be definitely added later. So great stuff, and also thanks from Niels, who is shown as a LinkedIn user here, and thanks already to everyone for watching. So for me, you can also use less complex functions on this, and I can, as we are talking now, I also can show you not my first, but my second user-defined functions I had ever, and this one is here. Let me share this. Here, this kind of text string, which creates a string for every value, and this was quite useful because to create this one, the order some bar string, I needed to use like a function. It's not over complex, but it's still some kind of complex to repeat some character, and it's bound to this measure. And I think this is an obvious drawback. I create one measure to just visualize one other measure. And here with this func bar, I just call the function create bar for this measure, and I can do it with any other measure I could. There are not so many measures here, so the others wouldn't be that fun. But I can maybe just input the previous here, and then I can. And this func bar changes a little bit. So it's still cool. And when I use it for 1000 measures and just need to change some logic, then I can go to the TMDL view, and I can just use this create bar function and just replace the anchor with something else like this tools here.
And you can also use SVG graphics.
Yes.
So you can predefine SVG bars also, if you want.
Yeah. There are some fantastic also other contributions, and you also I have seen you contributed to some kind of website, right? Where you can publish this kind of stuff. This is also something worth noticing. So best shout out to Bernard, who was encouraging you to do this.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, then, yeah. I hope
there are no other questions.
No, I don't see any questions. So then, thanks for watching to everyone, and see you all next time, and see you soon, Michael.
Yeah, see you soon. Goodbye.